Well, words have great power, and just a few can ignite terrible violence. The Sentinel Project is a Canadian organization that's using new technology to try and prevent mass atrocities around the world. This is by identifying hate speech and working directly with at-risk communities. The group is currently working in Kenya, Myanmar, Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan. Christopher Tuckwood is the executive director of the Sentinel Project. He's in studio with us this morning. Fascinating idea. Love that it's Canadian. Set up, first of all, for us, why is hate speech such a crucial indicator in recognizing early signs of people in danger?
Right. Well, if we look historically at any case of genocide, mass atrocities, a lot of other collective human rights abuses, a lot of it begins with language, really. So language that's used to identify certain groups, polarize people, dehumanize groups, and really start moving that sort of, you could say, verbal or social violence towards physical violence.
How does this work? Give us some examples of how you're using this technology to identify hate speech online.
Right. So in the case of our hate-based project, which is the online hate speech monitoring initiative, what we've done is, with the participation of researchers and organizations around the world that have kind of local contextual knowledge, we've built up a lexicon of keywords. Keywords and then kind of contextual rules that identify potential hate speech. And then we have software that's monitoring various different kind of online outlets and looking for those indicators.
So from that, you can find a pattern, possibly a source. I want to show people some of the photos from your work in Kenya. This is the Una Hakika Project, and you responded to a series of massacres back in 2013. And this is your team on the ground there, getting to know the communities, how they communicate. How much does misinformation play into putting people in harm's way?
Right. So we find that rumors and misinformation are really significant. And there's an interplay here between that and hate speech. We don't see them necessarily as totally distinct phenomena. But what we found, for example, in this case in Kenya, in the massacres in Tana Delta in 2012 and 2013, that when we went on the ground to learn about why that had happened and how it had happened, there were a lot of different factors, of course. Local conflicts over resource usage, land and water. There was an upcoming election, so it was very politicized. But very clearly, the information deficit in the area and the rumors that people were hearing were very significant. Things like a rumor that a rival community was planning an attack, or that a water supply had been poisoned intentionally, or that children had been abducted, rumors of arms shipments, et cetera. And the issue is that most people had no way of knowing if these things were true or not. So you can see how those kinds of potentially false information circulating can create an atmosphere of fear and distrust and hatred that enables violence.
Who would use this, Christopher? I mean, once you have identified the groups that are in danger, perhaps even a source of where it's coming from, misinformation, what do you do with that information? If you're giving it to a government who it is not in their best interest to act on it, what do you do with this information to make change?
Right. Well, it depends on the situation. But our primary intended users and beneficiaries are always the people on the ground. So just average citizens living in whatever area. And the idea is to counter that spread of false information, give people access to better information that enables them to make better decisions about how to maybe relate to other communities, navigate in actually violent situations, know what areas are dangerous, what areas are safe. And when it comes to working with governments, in some cases that makes sense. So in Kenya, that made sense because the government in that conflict was not a party to the conflict.
Right.
In other places like, let's say, Myanmar, or arguably a place like South Sudan, in some cases, that might not be the best approach.
You know, you're using your work in other countries and continents, but I have to think that there must be applications here in North America, and we'll check in with you about that another time.
Okay.
Christopher Tuckwood, thanks for joining us.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.